Okay, so we have a triangle here, x, y, z, where y equals 30 degrees, and the side xy is the shortest. And we're trying to find out what is the range of angles that x can have. So it's very easy to fall down a rabbit hole with us on all the different ways that the constraints of the shape of a triangle affect all the relative angles. But let's start with the picture. They weren't given one, but let's go ahead and draw one, just so we can get a sense of this. All right, I'm going to call this my y, this my x, and this my z. And of course, y is 30 degrees, and that is fixed. And of course, this clearly shows that xy is the shortest. All right, so really, with any of these problems, you have to start asking yourself, what do you know about triangles? One of the things we should all know, of course, is that all the angles add up to 180 degrees, and we're burning 30 of that from that fixed angle y, which leaves us with 150, to be divided between x and z. So, now what? Well, look at this for a second, and all right, so the side xy is the shortest, so that must mean then that z is the smallest angle. If xy is the shortest, then z must be the smallest, and if it's the smallest, then that means that it is less than 30 degrees, strictly speaking, and well, it can't be 0, so it's going to be larger than 0 but less than 30. All right, y is fixed at 30, yx or xy, that side is the shortest, so z has to be the smallest angle, so it has to be less than that fixed angle. Great. Now we are left with just burning up the values that will give us x. So what I mean by that is, well, x is going to be between its max value, which would be less than 150, all right? Because 150 minus 0. So if z were 0 in this case, and of course x is 150, and then what would be the other side of that? Well, if z were 30, well, that would leave us with 120 for x. All right, so 120, let's change that. All right, 150 minus 30, and 150 minus 0. I think that works. I believe this would be our range right here. Again, strictly speaking, pretty sure this is right. This x is going to always be bigger than 120 but less than 150, and the shape is going to get all funky and change because that 30 degrees for y is fixed, but I believe this works. I believe this works well. If we think about legal triangles, right? Well, one side is 30. The other two sides have to equal 150. So if x equals 1, and take that back. X equals 149, and z equals 1. That's legal, right? 1 plus 149 plus 30 is 180, totally legal. And it fits our restriction where z has to be smaller than y. And if we go up all the way to 20, let's say 29, just to make it easy to see, well, 29 for z plus 30 for y and plus 121 for x, get our 180. And again, this is totally legal, right? So here we have z, here we have y, and here we have x. Still totaling 180. Y is fixed. Z is at almost its maximum. Yeah, I think this works just fine.